Long ago, on the edge of a great forest, Hansel and Gretel lived with their father and stepmother. They were poor but happy. One year there was a terrible drought. So little rain fell, the crops couldn't grow. The parents worked all day in the garden, watering the plants as best they could. In spite of their hard work, there was barely enough to eat. When their bread was almost gone, the stepmother complained to her husband. "Your children cannot play while we work. They must go search for food." "No, no, no! They might get lost or hurt," he replied, horrified at the very idea. When she showed him how little was left to eat, he sadly agreed. Their fighting woke the children. From behind the door, Hansel and Gretel watched, terrified, as their parents argued. They climbed back into bed and hid under the covers. The next day, the stepmother sent them off with one tiny piece of bread. They trembled as they wandered into the forest, not sure how they would find their way home. Suddenly, Gretel came up with a plan. "We can use breadcrumbs to find our way home." They walked all day searching for something to eat, but didn't find a thing. "We need to go back," Gretel said as the sky darkened. Turning to follow their path, they discovered no crumbs. Now how would they find their way? The birds had stolen every bite. "Thank you," chirped the birds happily. Hansel and Gretel didn't think there was anything to be happy about. "How will we get home?" Gretel was hungry and knew that they had to keep going. "We can find our way," she encouraged. "Follow me. I think this is the right trail." She was wrong. They were lost. "I'm hungry," whined one. "I'm tired," whimpered the other. "We want to be home." They kept walking until, in the distance, a light glimmered. A house! Hurrying, they ran smack into a cottage made of sweets. Licking frosting and munching on scrumptious gingerbread men. They ate to their heart's content. From behind the door, a witch watched Hansel and Gretel eating. "I see you like my house," she startled the children. "Where will I live if you eat it up, my dearies? Still, I can see you are very hungry. Come in and eat all you want." Inside, Hansel and Gretel found a neatly laid table covered with meats and fruits, pies, and huge mounds of food. They ate until they could eat no more. They went off to bed, their dreams filled with gingerbread men. The next morning, Gretel woke to the witch's demands. "Quick, child, there's no time for lollygagging. Sweep the floor, boil water, and make breakfast for your skinny brother." Gretel rubbed her eyes and asked, "Where is he?" "Out back, in the shed, waiting to be fed," the witch cackled. Poor Gretel spent her days serving the witch, preparing meal after meal for Hansel. She cooked and carried food all day long. Each day the witch went to check on Hansel. Squinting, she ordered, "Show me your arm." Hansel grabbed a chicken bone instead and pushed that out to show the witch. "Gretel! This boy needs more food!" she screeched. The witch kept checking, but the boy just didn't seem to fatten up. One day she could wait no longer. She ordered Gretel to boil a big cauldron of water. Gretel ran to the shed. "Hansel," she said breathlessly, "she's coming to eat you." As the witch opened the door to let Hansel out, Gretel sneaked up behind her and yanked her pointy hat down over her eyes. While the witch pulled and tugged at her hat, Gretel pulled and tugged at Hansel. "Hurry," she pleaded. He tried to squeeze through, but he was too fat. "Help!" Gretel pulled until he was free. Then, before the witch could see, they threw her in the shed and ran away as fast as they could. Finally wrenching her hat off, the witch screamed to be let out. Hansel and Gretel kept running. "Which way is home?" they asked. "This way," called the birds. "Follow us." Now the children were happy to see the crumb thieves. Their father stopped working when he saw a flock of birds flying toward him. Could it be? Yes! Hansel and Gretel were home! Their stepmother saw them too. She was sorry that she had sent them into the forest. Would Hansel and Gretel forgive her? They did, Everyone was glad to be back together. Well, look at you! The stepmother hardly recognized Hansel. How did you get so plump? The children took turns describing all that had happened, how Hansel was locked in a shed, and Gretel had to cook, and all that Hansel had to eat. And then Gretel ended triumphantly, "We trapped the witch and ran away." "What?" the father asked. "You left her locked up? It's not right to leave her hungry." So all four of them went back into the dark forest and found the witch begging to be let out. "You're too mean to be free," scolded the stepmother. Then she remembered her own mean mistake and how she regretted it. She asked, "Can you change?" Yes, I promise I'll never be mean again." Then the stepmother wondered, "How did you fatten Hansel?" The witch didn't answer. "We're hungry and thirsty," said the stepmother. "Can you help us?" Then the witch did answer, "Yes, I can." Carefully, they let her out. She could hardly wait to share her secret. There, behind her house, was a sparkling spring. She led them to the garden, where they were delighted to tend the healthy plants. Seeing them happy, the witch knew she would rather scare crows than children. She took off her black cloak and her witchy hat and put them on the scarecrow. From that time on, no one went hungry. Every day, friends and family came to grow food and flowers and to eat. There was plenty of water, healthy food, and of course, dessert.